This, in my view, gave the backwind to the Arab Spring. I'm not arguing that the American policy was creating the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring is an authentic process, an outcome of the despair of the Muslim masses and their disrespect and their feelings towards the traditional leadership of their countries. This is an uprising, authentic uprising. But it became epidemic because of the message, because of the policy of the president, the policy of United States. That's what I would argue. So what? If this is a good process, then maybe it's positive. Maybe this message that was conveyed to the Muslim world have led a trend that became a positive, or is leading to a positive outcome. I beg to differ. Although, as I said before, at first, I would say few months, half a year, maybe a year, the Western society, United States, by the way, bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans, saw this process as a positive trend that moves those countries into the framework of a liberal democracy. The Americans in general, and many in the Western societies, of course there are exceptions, but many in the Western societies have two false beliefs. A, that democracy is a miracle solution for radicalism, for extremism, for violence and terrorism. And B, that free election is democracy. It seems that they tend to forget what is democracy all about. The democracy is a set of values. It's liberal thought. Democracy is civil society, is respect for the human rights, is respect of the right of minorities, women's lib. That's what democracy is all about. And yes, at the end of the day, we are also talking about this important apparatus of free election. But free election is not equal democracy. And sometimes free election can give birth to a very dangerous outcome where fundamentalists are winning those free elections. And this is unfortunately what we are experiencing today in the Arab and the Muslim world. The outcome, or the outcomes in plural, the short term and the long term, seems to be problematic. For the short term, we see that those countries that experience the Arab Spring becomes, one after the other, failed states. They do not control their territory, and when you have ungoverned territories together with failed statehood, this is heaven for extremists. This is heaven for terrorists, and we see that global and local jihadi terrorists are being rooted in those territories. On top of that, those elements are actually gaining much more power, and they get weapons and ammunition, by the way, from the empty warehouses of the Libyan army, from which the sophisticated weapons have disappeared, and now they pop up in different conflict areas being used by those fundamentalists like Nigeria, Niger, the Yemen, Sinai, and even Gaza. So the short-term implications is problematic, but also the long-term implication, I would argue, is problematic. Because although many in the world are claiming that the Muslim Brotherhood, which are winning election after election in those countries, do not call for violence, do not conduct terrorist attacks, and this is true. But the core ideology of the Muslim Brotherhood gave birth to the most dangerous terrorist organizations in the world. Hamas, for example, who is Hamas? Hamas, by definition, the second article of the Hamas Covenant says that Hamas is the Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood movement. Zawahiri, the leader of Al-Qaeda today, the one who replaced bin Laden, got his early education as a Muslim Brotherhood member in Egypt. Then he changed his view, he became more Salafist, and of course he has many argues with the Muslim Brotherhood. But what we see today, the change of regimes in which the Muslim Brotherhood is taking control, this in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, would lead to the rise of many extremists and new terrorist organization worldwide. Well, you know, I'm good in presenting gloomy pictures. That's my profession, being a counterterrorism expert. But this is a happy occasion. So I need to finish with more optimistic statement. And there is an optimistic statement here, because what I described is probably the most probable trend, but it's not deterministic. This trend can and should be changed. But to change the trend, and this is right now the most important time, because this is the embryonic phase of this trend. Right now, the international community, the Western society, and I would even add to that, Israel, can do something, if not to alter the trend, at least to influence this specific dangerous trend. But for that, what is needed is an excellent leadership. For that, what is needed are people, and I would dare to say youngsters, which are thinking out of the box. And I do believe that right now, right here, we have those kind of future leaders, excellent leaders, and I would like to sum up by calling you not only to keep on excelling as you do, but also hurry up and give back to the society as soon as possible, because we need you out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ganor, for those words of wisdom. And now you understand why counterterrorism is an academic subject. And I got to hear this speech, by the way, in the United States at the home of Ronald Lauder, in the office of Sam Zill, and throughout Silicon Valley. And every time I hear the speech, it gets more interesting. In fact, he says I can give the speech myself by now. Well, now it's my pleasure to call on Professor Melnick, the provost, Dr. Ganor, the representative of the School of Government here, Dr. Levy, the representative of the School of Psychology, for the granting of the Sarah and Zoltan Wynn Presidential Awards for the outstanding students. And I wish to call on the two most outstanding students at IDC Herzliya. And they are Jessica Berger of the Lauder School of Government, and Daniel Siegel of the School of Psychology, to receive their awards. As Professor Melnick noted before, Daniel and Jessica have made history. And that is that for the first time in the history of IDC Herzliya, two students from the Raphael Recanati International School take #1 and #2 at the university in excellence. Just to give you an idea what it takes to be #1 or #2, Daniel's grade point average is 98.9. Now, I would like to know, Dr. Levy, what did he do wrong that you took 1.1% off? Okay? You're supposed to believe in positive psychology. Okay? Now, Jessica has a 97.5. So, Boz, why did you counter-terrorize her? Where's the other 2.5 points? This is an amazing achievement, and let's have a hand for these two outstanding students. And as the head of the Raphael Recanati International School, I can't tell you how proud I am of these two students and the other students we are now going to call up, who are on the Dean's List. I also would like to mention in the audience Mimi Laufer, Sylvia Kassoff, Sylvia Berholtz, Stephanie Miller of the Raphael Recanati International School, who are sitting in the back, and they're claiming nachas from all of you. And now, as we're going to be calling up all of the students here by name who are on the Dean's List, and once more, don't leave without saying hello to your parents on the video after this. I am going to call the A team of Karine Katz. Karine Katz's A team, who are Yael Ramati, Rinat Bassan, Revital Yofer, and Debbie Joel, who are going to assist us in handing out the various certificates. And when we call on the students of business, I would like to also ask for the Dean, Professor Shachar, to join Yaron Timol in giving out those certificates. So good luck, team.
Good evening. We will be calling the students according to their descending GPA. We'll start with the business administration students. I would like to invite Dr. Yaron Timol to confer the certificate. And Professor Ron Shachar. I didn't know he was here. Yeah, I know. Okay. First year administration students. Ohad Ben Arti, who's a special scholastic distinction. Mika Bella Kite. David Brandes. Jacobo Taurel. Nadia Senft. Daniel Rabetti. Daniel Shalem. Geva Sulami. Jonathan Brin. Second year students, Nir Bardea. Natasha Oppenheim. Eyal Tzur. Eitan Atia. Daniel Rabin. And Aaron Winner Brusner. Third year students, Stefan Piv, Diana Kaufman, Adi Raz, Eli Scheinwald, and Yanina Lux.